The similarity is that both UK and China has open cases and closed cases. Hi guys, I'm Jennifer, the culture doctor. Today I'm going to share with you some of my experiences that I recently had. I was recently invited as a juror member to participate in the courtroom alongside with judges and prosecutors and lawyers. It was an exciting experience. I worked hard. When I was sitting in the courtroom and checking the piles of evidences presented to me, and I was listening to testimonies from witnesses, I was thinking, I can't help but think, how would this look like in China? I did some digging, and let me tell you what I found. Just to say that I'm not a lawyer, I'm practicing my best knowledge here by my experience and the research I've done. Now I'm outside of the courtroom. There's some noises. A vehicle is trying to start its engine. I'll see you later. I arrived in the queue, waiting outside of the court. I'm gonna start with my own experience. The first day I arrived in the courtroom, I found another 150 people. I was thinking how big this trial is. I was totally mistaken. We are in a juror pool, so we basically were waiting there to be picked. Some of the people would be picked twice, not at the same time though. Some of them would wait for 2 weeks in there and did nothing. I certainly wanted to be picked, so I was really hoping that somebody would pick my name. That's the thing, it's totally random. On a random system, it's like lottery. Just finished the first half day of my first day on jury duty. Extremely boring. Waiting in the pool room. Nothing. We're about, in total, 120 people, 150, waiting all together in the pool room with a reception. Then we're just waiting for the call for our trial. If there is. It's supposed to last at least 10 days, and this is the first day. I'll see what happens tomorrow. So on the first day, we entered the waiting area. We were briefed, and we were given instructions about what to do, what to not do, where is the lunch, what shall we do during the lunch break. We were told that what time we should be arriving and what time is the finishing time on each day. On the second day, I was picked on by a trial. I was called to a room to finish a questionnaire to see that whether I had any relationship with the defendant or anybody on the trial. Turned out I didn't. So I was picked on that trial and was lucky enough to turn into a courtroom. An usher led us into the courtroom and we were sitting in 2 lines, 6 each, 12 of us. I found that another 11 participant jurors are from all different industries, different age groups, different gender, different ethnic groups, regardless. We can be young, we can be old, we can be different ethnics. It was totally a random pick. Second day on the jury service. Half day finished. I was picked on a trial and filled in a questionnaire, waiting them for me to go into the courtroom. Lunch break now. I took my own sandwich, finished it. I was so hungry that I finished 2 sandwiches at one time. I got my water. I need to fill in my water. Finish it as well. Thirsty. Today is a sunny day. Really, really nice sky and everything. Turn out my trial was going to last for about 2 weeks. I've heard that other people's trial can be last shorter or longer. Some of them lasted only 2 days, and some of them lasted 12 weeks. or even longer, but mine was 2 weeks. In the courtroom, there was a judge, a barrister, a prosecutor, and a nurse who assist in this case. Then there are 12 of us and the defendant. We sit in 2 lines, front and back. We can perfectly see everything of this courtroom. Anything happen in the courtroom will not escape from our eye. Third day of my jury services, I'm finally picked onto a trial. So I came out from the courtroom just lunch break. The drug dealing case, rather interesting. I'm gonna be honest, I was a little bit surprised by the trust put on us. 12 random people together, with different backgrounds, regardless of educational background, regardless of industrial background, regardless of any gender background, ethnic background. We can totally decide someone's future. Hi there. Second week of my jury services. Start at 10 o'clock this morning. Oh no, start at 11 o'clock this morning. 10 o'clock check-in. We changed the courtroom again from courtroom 1 to courtroom 4 now. A lot of evidence presented, needed a real concentration, and I made it. Now it's lunch break. Looking forward to the afternoon ones. Okay? What I've noticed is that the defendant was trying to be nice to us during the entire time of the trial. Well, with the real power in hand, I didn't wonder why. But at the same time, I felt real responsibilities on the trial and outcome. Second week, on the third day of jury services, getting more and more interesting. Lots of evidence presented and debating between the defendant and the prosecutors. And I'm paying very attention to the details. Were we paid? Yes and no. We are compensated on our salary lost. We are compensated on our expense, the transportation, the lunch, and the time that we took off our work. But in general, it is not a salary, it is a compensation. Let's just say this. If you want to be a millionaire by being a juror, it's not very possible. So what's the difference between the UK and China in terms of the juror service? First of all, in China, juror members are not called jurors, they are called people's assessors. In terms of the number of the jurors, there is a difference between the UK and China. The UK juror member normally formed by 12 people. They're randomly picking with different background, as I said, regardless of their educational level and industrial background. Whether they work or they were students, it doesn't make difference. While in China, people's assessors are generally required to be older than 28 years old, while in the UK it's 18 to 75. Older than 28 years old and have at least a high school level of education. Second difference. In the UK, the jurors deciding on the fact, aka whether this person is guilty or not, while they are picked for only one trial. So on this single trial, 12 people have the full power to discuss and decide whether this person is guilty or not. While in China, people's assessors may have been working on different trials, multiple trials. So they can discuss and decide what they think, but they cannot decide the outcome. They would have to be guided by the judge. So we can think that people's assessors will work on multiple cases as the assistant of the judge. They give the third party's opinions, but it's up to the judge to decide whether they're guilty or not. The third difference. UK's jurors decide only on fact, not the legal interpretations. So whether they think this defendant is guilty or not, it's only this stays on this side. People's assessors, they have the right to discuss legal interpretations as well. So they work with law as well. In the UK, it's up to the judge to decide this case is open to public or closed. While in China, the case is normally open unless it is related to minors, national security, or confidential information. It will be closed. Both of the systems are aiming for fairness. It's just the process are decided in different way. I think the biggest difference between the UK and China's juror system is that in the UK, random people were picked on one single case. You may be picked once in a life, but during that trial, you have the full power and go ahead to discuss and decide one person's future. The exercise of power by random people was a little bit surprising to me. While in China, people's assessors work on multiple cases that can give their observations and thinking to the judge, while they cannot decide whether the outcome is guilty or not guilty. They are more like judge's assistant, get third opinions, but they can also do interpretation on the legal process. So they work both on fact and laws, while they cannot solely decide the outcome. I was very honored to be picked onto a trial to observe what happened on the evidence and discuss what I see, what I think with other 11 juror members. But this whole experience inspired me on thinking, what is fairness? What kind of system would be more fair to people? Would fairness mean random people can participate on a trial to get freedom of expression and discussion? Does that mean more fair? Or more fair means like owning certain qualified people or have certain level of qualification? Or the fairness means only certain people can participate in a trial while they have more qualifications, education levels. They can assist professionals to decide to get more fair outcome. I think both systems has the pros and cons. They have the strengths and withdrawals. Depends on how people feel, how people think, what's the culture and custom in that area. To me, I think there is a sacrifice on allowing random people to discuss thoroughly on the case and decide a verdict on their own, while they have no qualifications on education, while there is a risk to only allow certain people to decide whether it is true, guilty or not guilty as well. So what do you think? I can't really make my mind about which system is better, which system is more fair. To me, systems always have strengths and weaknesses. They always have risks, and they always have pros and cons. So what do you think? I would like to know your opinions. Please let me know. So this is my cat. He can't wait to have his dinner. Because I've been filming this video for so long, he's bored. Yes. So a lot of people think that in China, a lot of people think that in China. Hey guys. The similarity is that both UK and China are promoting both UK and China. A lot of people. So the transparency. Both the UK and China has open cases and closed cases. The similarity